the recording. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Hot Song Podcast. This is February the 6th and it's the year 2025. So we're doing a group healing this evening. I'm going to do two sessions. One is really releasing. And so I think my initial I want to actually release sadness because I'm still working on water. So sadness is more of a watery kind of emotions versus anger is more fiery kind of emotion. So that's why I want to pick sadness, and then next time we can do anger as well. But we'll do some releasing of sadness. We've gone through a lot of losses in recent years, whether it is a loss of identity or loss of property or loss of a loved one. So sadness, regrets, and grief. So all of that is kind of lumped into sadness. So that's what I want to do some releasing around first. And then the next one is really to do some deep soul wounds healing using source energy. So source energy is, so what is source? There are different levels of source. So we live in this environment, and this is this environment, but there is a part of us that is not, or I should say, there's a part of us that is beyond this environment, beyond Earth, beyond all our experiences. So that part of us is for the experience on Earth, it is actually the source, because that part of us is gives us a different understanding of what we are seeing here. So that's kind of a source as well. And the more you go up, pull up and look at the different dimensions, there are, I would say, still aspects of you. You meaning, well, okay, let's say for myself. For myself, I know that there are times that I can access different parts of myself. I can actually go travel to other places, other dimensions, other realities, while I'm still in this body and conscious of it. So I do have access to those parts of myself, not on a regular basis, but every now and then I would have glimpse of that. So every one of us have access to that. And so some people call it our higher self. Some people call it our oversoul. So whatever name you call it, that's what I'm referring to, is the other parts of ourselves that can see beyond what we are limited to in this reality of the senses. So that is our source. That's kind of one level of source. And then there are other levels of source is that we are created. Our consciousness creates, has been, okay, creation, created is kind of maybe not the best word to use it. It's not really created because nothing is created. It's just we are aware of it, conscious of something. So we can say we create a thought, and then when those thoughts are linked together as a pattern, then that becomes a creation. So that's what I mean by this. The source is really the ultimate part of ourselves that is way beyond what our normal senses can comprehend. So, so then there are levels of source. When we are in this environment, because we always have access to source, we may not have access to, the ultimate source that is the source of everything, but we do have access to a source that is beyond what we can experience in this reality. So it's at a most of the time it's at an unconscious level. However, when we focus enough, we become more conscious of our access to that. That really is access to our true self. Our true self is really that source that we are always connected to. So that part of us is really what I mean by the source energy, the source frequency. So when we focus more of accessing that source frequency, especially when we do this in a group, we actually have access to more of it, then there are things that we can shift that we may not be able to shift within our ordinary or normal everyday consciousness. So that's what I want to do with the second kind of meditation or release, is to do some deep soul wounds. So what can cause deep soul wounds? For example, I think I mentioned is when you've gone through any I would say abrupt and drastic physical trauma, then that can cause a soul wounding, especially if it's a violent one. So maybe, dying in a car crash, have some, but not a lot. But if you're actually murdered or brutally murdered by someone you love, so betrayal and all of that in that, it actually can create a wound or a distortion in your soul that may take a couple of lifetimes or maybe many lifetimes to resolve, depending on the how often this happens or how deep the wound is. That's why there are places on Earth that is constantly under war or battle. There are always bad things happening. Then those places or the people that the souls that incarnate in those areas would be influenced by that imprint. So then that can cause a distortion in their soul, which given time, enough time and consciousness, of course, it can be healed. However, that process can be accelerated when we consciously call on source energy to shift it. So we're going to do some of that tonight as well. Okay, so let's do the first one first, which is to do the releasing sadness. I've mentioned to you all there is a command called Lao Zhen, which we used last time. So I'm going to use that again today to assist. Let me see. How can I let me just do a screen share. Lao Zhen. Okay, what does that? Okay, so that's so these are the two characters. They are Chinese characters, Lao Zhen. Okay, so these two characters, and we're gonna use that as I would say a program or a source of energy to release. So let me just okay, let me stop the recording and then restart it again.